problems, or what have happened when you hear whoops. They appear daily in our work, in our processes and our workplaces. Every process, every company have them. We can't escape them. But it's what we do when we encounter them that decides if we're improving or not. Do nothing to your problem or solve the wrong problem and you will be stuck in the same place. Solve the actual problem by solving the root cause, the real reason of the problem, and you can improve faster than others. In order to properly solve a problem, you first need to properly understand the problem. Far too often we are solving what we think is the problem, rather than only to face the same problem again shortly thereafter. Root cause analysis is a great tool to not only find the real reason behind the problem, but also, very importantly, make sure that we understand why this problem is important to solve in the first place. My name is Marcus Hammerberg and I work for the Salvation Army Health Foundation here in Indonesia. We have 6 hospitals and 16 clinics spread throughout the country. During the last couple of years we have been talking a lot about mission, vision and strategic plans. I have therefore created a couple of presentations with the tools that can help you in your daily work trying to fulfill the vision and strategies of your company. Root cause analysis, the theme of this presentation, is one of those tools. It's really easy to learn. In fact, let's jump right in. Here's a problem that sometimes happens. All of a sudden, someone gets virus on their computer and the data is gone, wiped out. Sadly, this time the computer had some really important financial data on it. So this is easy, right? Tell the owner of the computer to get their act together and find someone to help us recover the data. But will that really solve the real problem? Let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's find the root cause of this problem. In fact, let's first scribble the problem at hand down on a little post-it note and put it in the middle of a whiteboard or a flip chart. When you do root cause analysis, we approach the problem in 2 aspects. First, going upwards, we ask so what questions to really understand why this problem is important to solve. Secondly, going downwards, we ask why to understand how the problem has occurred. Let's focus on the so what part first. We zoom in on that part of the board. Financial data lost to virus. So what? Why is this a problem? Well, the first thing that popped out in our heads was that we lose the financial data history. Okay, so what? Well, that means that we cannot do reporting anymore. For example, for taxes. So what? Well, that's illegal. So what? Yeah, as you see, at one point you'll reach a point in time where it feels very stupid to ask the next question. Everyone knows why this is bad. It's illegal. We stop there. Let's circle that. Let's go back now to the outset. We lost some financial data. So what? Well, we also spend a lot of time trying to recover that data, maybe even recreate it from scratch. Okay, who cares about that? That means that we waste a lot of time and money. So what? Wasting time, why is that bad? Well, we're doing the wrong thing. Now we're spending time fixing something that we broke rather than working on our real job. So what? Well, firstly, that's wasteful, and it means that our real job loses focus and thereby quality. Let's circle that as well. Let's go back to the wasting money part. This is bad because that means that we cannot use the money we spend on fixing, recovering our files on the things that we actually want to spend them on. Which again means that our real job loses quality. Let's zoom all the way out and take a look at all the things we created. We have learned a lot more about this problem. The real reason we need to fix this is because it's actually illegal to lose data like that. And if we don't fix this, our real job loses quality. The things that we want to do, we cannot do. Of course, there could be much more to say here and dive into, but let's stop here for this example. Now we move to the lower part and see if we can understand why this has happened. When asking these questions, I found that finding someone to blame is not fruitful to understand the problem. In Toyota, they often say, blame the process, not the people. Or, in the words of William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army, hate the sin, love the sinner. In other words, let's keep people outside for now and instead ask questions from a systemic perspective, without blaming people, without blaming anyone. Blame people if you want to handle a single person. Blame the system if you want to handle systemic problems. Okay, so why did this happen? Well, there were no virus protection on that computer. Also, there were no backup ever being made on that computer. That sounds really bad. Why? Well, no one thought that this could happen. We thought we could be saved. And now, after doing the so what part, we realized that we didn't understand the consequences also of losing this data. It's actually illegal. So why didn't we understand the consequences? Well, as an accountant, I thought that IT would handle this for me. I had no clue how to manage my computer. But why didn't the IT department do that? They didn't do it because they are swamped with other activities. But fixing this computer was very important. But how could they know? So it sounds like a fail to prioritize problem here. May also be that they have too many things to do and that they are not doing, they are doing the wrong things. Let's circle fail to prioritize. Let's back up and see why we don't understand the risks and consequences. So yeah, also as an accountant, I might not have any computer knowledge. For example, I might not know that I can get virus from a USB stick. We lack the basic computer knowledge. Why do we lack the basic computer knowledge? How can we have people working with computers every day that don't have sufficient skills? We have not trained them enough. Why didn't we train them? Because we as a company didn't realize the risk and consequences of having untrained staff. Can you see how the lines here form a loop like this? This means that if we don't break this loop, fix this problem, the problem will just get worse and worse. And the real problem here is a little bit hard to see in a loop. But we are not sufficiently trained. That's a base cause, probably the root cause of this problem. Let's circle that. Let's zoom all the way out and see the entire map we have created and use that as a summary. Now we get a better picture of the problem at hand. See, and now here, the airplane here. Sorry about that. So now we get a better picture of the problem at hand. See how we first understood why we need to solve this problem by asking so what question. Secondly, we went to the root of the problem, the root cause, by asking why. So, why does root cause analysis work? What are the things that are important to make root cause analysis work for you? To me, it's summed up in 3 words: visual, collaborative, system-focused. Let me explain what I mean. By making this big, visual, touchable map over the problem, like we just did, a connection is made between the people that created the map and the problem. This feels real, since it is real. You can touch it. And also, we created this by writing the post-its, moving them around, erasing the arrows, changing the names. We have worked to create this. I've many times seen how this makes the exercise feel more important and real than if we have done this in a discussion or a mail conversation. Another important aspect is making the exercise collaboratively, together. That means that for best effect, you need the people that have the best knowledge of the problem at hand in the room. This is sometimes referred to as having the 3 amigos in the room, the people you need to solve the problem. You can do it yourself, but it will be incomplete, and also it means that you yourself own the problem and its solution. By doing it together, we create a stronger feeling that this is our problem that we have solved together, rather than their problem that they have created for a solution that they now are forcing on us. Finally, root cause analysis works best if it's focusing on solving the problem in the system, rather than to blame a certain person. Companies doing lean are really good at this, and it's built into the foundation for how Toyota works since the 1950s with their principle, respect for individuals. It's very understandable for these types of companies since they are always looking for better ways. They do that by continuously and relentlessly attacking the problems and do their best to make them go away. In fact, root cause analysis as a tool and the 5 whys exercise, if you heard about that, was pioneered in Toyota. We are just borrowing it from them. When you facilitate a root cause analysis exercise, you therefore need to make sure that people feel safe. Make sure that they understand that the goal is to fix the systemic errors and not to find people to blame. Remind everyone about this before you start. One way to do this is to say or display something like this. Regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did their best job they could, given what they knew at the time, their skills, abilities, the resources available, and the situation at hand. Let's summarize. Root cause analysis is a problem-solving technique. It approaches the problem in 2 aspects, by going upwards, asking so what questions, to understand why this problem is important to solve. By going downwards, asking why questions, to learn about the root cause of the problem, to be able to solve the real problem. Root cause analysis works best when it's done visually, collaboratively, and focusing on fixing the problems in the system rather than to blame people. My name is Marcus Hammerberg, and this has been about 10 minutes on root cause analysis. Thank you for listening. Tuhan memberkati Anda. God bless you.